Everybody, I'm Dave with Growing the Home Garden. Today I want to show you a very easy way to multiply a whole bunch of sedum, in particular autumn joy sedum. Now if you've ever grown autumn joy sedum, you know it's beautiful. It kind of blooms in the late summer and fall. It's so easy to care for because it doesn't really require much watering or care. It's a succulent. They just grow great. They're perennial. They last for years. So let's take a look. Here is our autumn joy sedum, or one of quite a few of them that we've got around the garden. Here you can see this autumn joy sedum right there, and you can see the flower buds are beginning to happen right up there, and those will eventually turn red and they'll attract lots of different pollinators. But what you'll also notice is that there's a lot of leaves on it, and so we're going to do what you call leaf cuttings. And a leaf cutting is basically where you're just propagating a leaf, and sedum propagates very well from leaf cuttings. You can also do stem cuttings, but leaf cuttings allow you to pull off a few leaves here and there that's not really noticeable to the whole plant, and it also allows you to make a whole lot more sedum plants very quickly. So all you're going to do this is just take your hand and come in here to where the leaf is right up here against the stem, and we're going to give it a quick pull, and we're going to try to retain a little bit of the stem material right here. Okay, and we're going to take several of those just like that, cutting right there, and then we're going to place them in our medium. We'll talk about that more here in a second. So I'm going to go and get a few more of these. And I'm pulling from parts of the plant that are not going to be really visibly noticeable. You can go to the inside of the plant if you wish, just like this, and nobody will even know that you did it. So if you see right here, I've got about 10 cuttings that I pulled out, and I'm just going to kind of dip each one a little bit into this medium, which is just seed starting mix. Nothing fancy. You can buy that at pretty much any garden store, garden shop. This is some I previously used for some cilantro seeds. So I'm just going to kind of angle it so that the end of that cutting is inside the median. Just kind of spread around some of that, and then I'm going to water. So I just watered this just a little bit, and just a couple notes about what I just did. This, of course, being a seed starting mix, contains quite a bit of peat, which peat tends to be a little bit hydrophobic and kind of repels it. So it takes a little bit of time for that water to actually absorb into there. So, but it is absorbing pretty well. Now this is a container that doesn't have any holes in the bottom, and I'm just going to keep it moist. Sedum has a tendency to hold a lot of water in the leaves, and so that makes it really easy to propagate because it doesn't lose water very quickly. So hopefully I'm not going to have to water this very much at all, but I'll keep it monitored. I'm not going to cover it. I'm going to leave it as is. I'm going to put it in my garage under some grow lights, but if you don't have grow lights, you can use a windowsill, a sunny windowsill, to give it some light. Probably don't want a whole lot of direct sunlight while it's trying to grow roots. Just somewhere, a little bit of dappled shade, something like that would work as well. It will probably take these 2 to 3 weeks or so to start developing some roots. Once it does, you can pot them up individually into little pots and let it grow. They'll start growing little stems from those root structures, and eventually these leaves will completely fade away, and you won't have those anymore. You'll have new growth coming off the stem. Now another thing you can do, and this carries over with pretty much all sedums, is you can take these leaf cuttings, just strip the leaves off, like particularly the smaller types, maybe a kind of one of those ground cover type sedums, and you can just strip them off of the stem and drop them into some medium, cover it with a little bit of soil, and they'll eventually start growing their own stems, their own roots, and everything. So it's a really easy plant to propagate. They're perennials, they're great, low maintenance, they do flower, so they are good for pollinators and butterflies and bees, and they're just a good plant to have in the garden. But again, this is Autumn Joy Sedum. This is doing leaf cuttings, and we'll do some updates in the next couple weeks as to what is growing and how well they're doing. So anyway, if you found this video interesting, hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.